The world was never noisy, the noise was always internal. When I say the world was never noisy, I'm trying to say nothing outside you is talking to you, nothing outside you is demanding meaning, nothing outside you is asking to be interpreted. Let's break it down cleanly. Sounds are not noise. A car passes, a dog barks, people speak. These are sensory events. Noise begins only when the mind says, "This is irritating, this shouldn't be happening, this ruins my peace." Without that sentence, it's just sound. Events are not stories. Someone leaves, someone touches you, something ends. The event is neutral. Noise begins when the mind adds, "This means I'm rejected. This completes me. This should have lasted." The world did not add this, memory did. Pleasure is not disturbance. Sensation arises. Chemicals release. The body responds. Noise begins when the mind says, "I need this again. Without this, I'm incomplete." That need is noise. So, what is noise exactly? Noise is commentary, a continuous internal voice saying why this matters, what it means, what should happen next. That voice is not the world. The world presents sensation. The mind demands meaning. Meaning is where noise is born. Why this matter? Once you see this, something important happens. You stop trying to fix the world. You see that silence is already here. Peace does not need production. Energy was never scattered outside. It was only being spent internally on narration. Remove the interpreter, and the world reveals it was never noisy. Not because it changed, but because you stopped talking over it. When I say the world was never noisy, I'm not denying activity. Bodies move, sounds occur, events happen, but activity is not noise. Noise is psychological interpretation. Listen carefully. Sex happens. In reality, nerves fire, bodies touch, chemicals release, friction, heat, movement. That's it. The noise begins when the mind says, "This means something about me. This completes me. I need this again. I lost something." Without that narration, it is just sensation. A kiss happens. Reality, pressure, warmth, saliva, sensation. The mind adds romance, memory, attachment, future expectation. The world did not add that. The mind did. The past exists. No. What exists is memory firing now. Memory is not alive. It is dead data being replayed. The event is over. Only the story remains. And the story creates noise. Craving arises. Reality, neurochemical fluctuation, bodily urge, a flicker in consciousness. The mind converts it into longing, identity, lack, pursuit. Again, the world did nothing. So, what is the world actually? Remove memory, remove imagination, remove meaning. What remains is sensation, movement, appearance, disappearance, no drama, no plot, no commentary. This is why I say the world is silent. Not spiritually, not poetically, factually. Why the mind resists this? Because if the world is silent, your suffering has no justification. Your cravings have no authority. Your identity has no foundation. So the mind keeps demanding fascination, stimulation, emotional peaks, stories to live inside. Not because life requires them, but because the mind cannot survive without noise. Noise is not in experience. Noise is in the demand for experience. The mind thinks something must be done. That itself is noise. The exposure does not happen by control, discipline, renunciation, repetition, practice. All of those assume the fascination is valuable and must be managed. Exposure happens when its false necessity is seen. How the mind believes fascination is necessary. The mind quietly assumes, without this feeling, I'll be empty. Without desire, life will be flat. Without story, I won't exist. These are assumptions, not truths. They are never questioned. They are simply lived. The moment of exposure. At some point, often through exhaustion, clarity, or shock, you notice something simple. Every fascination promises fulfillment and always leaves residue. You don't think this, you see it in real time. After pleasure, craving returns. After meaning, doubt returns. After excitement, restlessness returns. The cycle becomes visible. That visibility is exposure. What actually collapses? Not desire, not sensation, not life. What collapses is the belief. This is necessary for me to be okay. Once that belief is gone, fascination loses authority. It may still arise, but it no longer commands. A very concrete example. You crave intimacy before the craving feels urgent, it feels personal, it feels meaningful. Then you see it is a chemical wave. It peaks, it falls, it repeats. No judgment, no suppression, just observation. Suddenly something shifts. This does not require me, that is exposure. When something is truly seen as unnecessary, willpower is not needed. You don't resist touching fire once you know it burns. You don't control that. You just don't do it. Why this feels subtle but final? The mind wants fireworks. Exposure is quiet. No declaration, no transformation story, no identity shift. Just less urgency, less pull, less noise, and more undivided energy. Fascination ends the moment its promise is seen as false, not argued against, not fought, seen. That is how it becomes unnecessary. The mind cannot live in silence. Silence is death to the mind. So the mind must keep itself busy with fascination, drama, stories, meaning, fantasy, hope, fear, identity. If none of these are present, the mind collapses. It has nothing to feed on. That is why the mind keeps creating noise, even when life itself is quiet. What the world actually is. Remove interpretation, remove narration, remove this means something. What remains? The sun rises, people walk, sounds appear and disappear, the body breathes, events happen, that's it. No commentary, no storyline, no emotional soundtrack. The world is silent, not poetically silent, functionally silent. Silence does not mean absence of sound. Silence means absence of psychological commentary. Why the mind cannot accept this? Because if the world is silent, then your suffering has no cosmic meaning. Your craving has no justification. Your past has no authority. Your future has no promise. And most dangerously, you as psychological entity are unnecessary. So the mind invents problems to solve, enemies to fight, futures to chase, wounds to heal, not because they are real, but because without them, the mind has no job. This is the crucial distinction. The mind says, life must be interesting. Reality says, life simply is. Interest is a mental addiction. Silence is reality's natural state. Listen carefully. When fascination drops, not through effort, not through discipline, but through seeing its falseness, you don't become bored. You become undistracted. And in that undistracted state, energy is no longer divided. Action becomes precise. Fear weakens. Suffering loses fuel. Not because you fixed the mind, but because the mind lost its central position. The world was never noisy. The world never needed your story. The noise was always internal, created so the mind could feel relevant. Silence is not something you achieve. Silence is what remains when the mind stops demanding entertainment. Nothing outside you is talking to you. A tree does not say, respect me, find meaning in me, learn a lesson from me. It stands. A person speaks words, but the meaning you extract is internal. The sound enters the ear. The interpretation happens inside. The world does not speak in concepts. The mind translates sensation into language. That translation is not reality. It is psychological overlay. Nothing outside you is demanding meaning, even secure. A relationship ends. A job offer comes. The body ages. The event does not say, this defines you. This must hurt. This should fulfill you. Meaning is added after the fact. You don't suffer because something happened. You suffer because the mind insists, this must mean something about me. Meaning is not discovered, it is imposed. Nothing outside you is asking to be interpreted. A sound is just vibration. A touch is just sensation. A thought is just a thought. The world does not require analysis. It does not say, understand me, figure me out, fix me. Interpretation is the mind's addiction to relevance. It wants to be central, so it inserts itself everywhere. Where the confusion comes from. From childhood, you are trained to believe. Life must be understood. Events must be processed. Emotions must be explained. This creates the illusion that interpretation is necessary. It is not. Life functions without your commentary. A precise distinction. Function does not require interpretation. You can walk without analyzing walking, breathe without narrating breathe, respond to danger without storytelling. Interpretation comes after life already moved. What happens when this is seen? The mind relaxes not by effort but by irrelevance. Thought still appears, but it no longer feels compulsory. You stop arguing with life because life was never arguing with you. The world does not need to be understood, only the mind insists that it does. When this is seen clearly, silence is not created, silence is revealed. This does not make you passive, it makes you precise. Action still happens, response still happens. What disappears is the unnecessary inner commentary that was never asked for. That commentary was the noise, and it was always internal. So nothing needs to be removed, nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be understood. Life is already moving correctly. The world is not speaking to you, it is not asking for meaning, it is not demanding interpretation. That demand came from the mind's need to feel relevant. When this is seen, not practiced, not repeated, not turned into an idea, the inner commentary loses its authority. What remains is not dullness, what remains is clarity without effort. The world does not become silent, it is revealed that it always was, and in that silence, energy is no longer divided. The world was never noisy, sounds happened, events unfolded, bodies moved, sensations arose and disappeared, but none of this was noise. Noise began the moment the mind stepped in and said, "This means something, this should fulfill me, this should not be happening." The world never asked for interpretation, it never demanded meaning, it never spoke in stories. The commentary was internal, the urgency was internal, the division of energy was internal. When this is seen, not as an idea, not as a belief, the need to chase fascination quietly dissolves. Not because life becomes empty, but because the illusion of necessity collapses. Nothing outside needs to change. Silence does not have to be created. It is simply recognized that the world was never noisy, only the mind was.